All right, and welcome back to another behind the scenes of filmmaking class for those who couldn't be there on the shoot. Today, these are the behind the scenes for Grayson's film that we recorded last Friday. That would be, we recorded this, of course, at the Gav studio, and it took place from about 9 in the morning till the wrap time was around 3 p.m. when all things were done. This, of course, was the 18th of October. All right, let's get started and I'll talk you through what's going on. Right here, we can already see that the slate and the our audio recorder are syncing their time code
Restart time?
dead before
No. Not go back to slate.
midnight.
So menu,
Menu.
go to slate.
Grant's our producer, Grayson's our director, Jonathan is our DP. Where's Grant's arm? This is necessary to sync the two because in the filmmaking the editing process, we are
You don't hit jam until you turn this. So, is it turned on? Okay.
okay. It's important because then it really helps in the video recording or the video editing process at the end. They're jamming right now. The time code you can see right there.
10, 11, 12. So it's good?
Yep.
Okay, so then
Means
you
the
go back
time
to
code
menu,
is synced.
menu until you're out.
With our audio recorder.
This, then your who's gonna be first I see is the slate. Have it open with the time code.
First AC is going to run the slate. So you can see Joshua there is going to be our first AC with the slate. He'll be marking every shot, every take.
Change focus so you can come all the way out to here. And it's nice if you can see if there's light on it. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna need somebody for script supervisor. So you're gonna be keeping track of the takes. Does anyone want to be script supervisor?
Phone's on silent.
Yep. Script supervisor is going to make sure the lines are said correctly. Also in charge of continuity. So making sure like, oh, your hand was here in this shot versus your hand was there in that shot. You pick this up in this hand. When we, oh, it's quiet. We're going to do our first take here.
Roll camera.
Scene one, take one.
Interesting to know is you can hear the whirring sound stopped. That's the camera's fan turns off when you hit record.
We've given you a week to recover from your last episode. How are you feeling today? Dennis, in order for these meetings to go smoothly, I need for us to communicate.
We're seeing right there on our audio recorder the green bars are going into yellow or red. We can see the person right here with the headset is monitoring the audio levels because there are 3 different microphones in the left. We can see the boom microphone. The boom operator is running that one, but each one of the 2 actors also has a body mic, a lavalier microphone that's hidden. And we do this because the lavs are going to usually sound a lot better, but sometimes if they're moving, you can get rustling noises or noises that happen under their clothes, and you don't want that to happen.
I understand, Dennis. I'm sorry you were handled with poor care. But we aren't at the police station anymore. We're in a safe place. A place where you can tell your side of the story. Feel safe.
That's what all you psychodoctors say.
Here's our monitor of the scene. You can see it's a pretty long scene that they're going. They're probably doing a full take, maybe, of the scene.
Told the cops what happened, and they chose not to
and this is the wide shot. So that monitor we just saw shows us what the red camera, our camera, is seeing specifically. So we can see it's a 2-shot, it's wide. The director sitting behind the monitor seeing exactly what that is. As you can also see, as we're zoomed out now, you can see we're in the TV studio at Gav, and Grant has built a set on studio, and you can see it's 3 walls. It goes about 8 feet tall. There's our green screen over there. So, and you can see Sophie, who's the assistant director. There's Grayson, who's the director. If you look up and you see that big light bulb that's above, that's actually one of our LED lights. And it has on it, which we call a globe. So it gives a uniform light all around. You can put that over everyone. It acts as like a center light, almost like a sun burst, and evenly lights in a 360 direction. That's good when you're trying to light all people at once.
I don't know if you noticed this, but we're mostly interested in just the tips, whether or not those are good.
Okay. So then, pretty much like, when that tick goes, look like that.
There's our director, Grayson.
We got
You can see bringing a bunch of different furniture and paintings. You can make a really nice looking set. This, of course, is supposed to be a therapist's office.
Most of this will be in a single window.
Great.
We're just getting this one long shot first. Yes.
Testing, testing. Michelle, later.
keep going for a second.
Testing, testing.
You have to verify this, but there's better some line.
I've been here for almost 2 weeks.
You're still asking me the same shit. When I first got here.
Doc.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. Test. Test, testing, testing.
Can you lean forward?
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing.
And you can't see his mic. Cool. You're good.
Get set up for.
We're just gonna take the mic.
So just by looking at the slate, we can see right there that it says scene 1, take 2. So they're going to do the whole take a second time.
Scene 1, take 2.
There we go. So he moves out of position as soon as we hear the director call action, and the actors start. It's important too because we want to wait for everyone to be able to stop moving, settle down, make sure the camera operator gives us the go-ahead to know that everything's in focus and ready to do any movement or shots. Since we know this is a take 2, it's going to be a similar shot as last time.
I need for us to communicate.
Why do we do multiple takes? Well, maybe there was an error. Maybe someone said a line wrong. Maybe you want to give your actors a little bit more direction.
You're still asking me the same shit as when I first got here.
You know, and direction could be something like, you know, could you give me a little more, give me a little less? Even like, hey, can you cheat towards the camera? A lot of the times in filmmaking, cheating towards the camera means like, hey, can you kind of face your face more towards the camera so we see more of a profile? It can look like they're looking at one another in the shot, but sometimes they're looking like a little past each other just so we don't get such a profile shot of one person talking to another. That's the fun part, is you can play with angles and stuff in filmmaking.
But we aren't at the police station anymore. We're in a safe place. A place where you can tell your side of the story and feel safe.
Yeah, that's what all you psycho doctors say. Wait for the insane to confess so you can throw them in some whack house for the crazy.
Plus, I told the cops what happened, and they chose not to believe me. And it doesn't look like you're going to either.
Dennis, you're building a wall between someone who wants to help and accepting the outcome you couldn't control. I really want to help you because I read your case, and I know there are others out there like you who didn't have someone on their side.
Why me, then? Huh? Well, why bother with my situation if there are others just like me?
Well, because not every case involves a triple homicide, followed by arson, with the suspect pleading that it was the doings of unworldly demons. I just want to make sense of this with you, Dennis.
Long takes like this are like interesting because they do help you make your day. If your actors are able to go and you're not cutting every single line, if you're able to get a wide establishing shot, that's just ultimately going to mean that we're going to be able to make our day, right?
Because I'm the only person who wants to help.
Of course, you definitely will want to shoot coverage. You can't just go with like this 2-shot because no one's going to want to sit and watch like a 4-minute scene of one single angle. We want to cut the close-up. So they are going to shoot different angles of this. You can see it on the right hand of the screen, the camera operator's viewfinder, which is on top of the red right there. That, of course, feeds the monitor for the director.
Kai?
Yeah, but did this is line so bad at all?
At the beginning,
At the beginning?
They're discussing whether or not they need another take.
All right, we're gonna run it again. One more for safety.
One more for safety. Safety, of course, means like, hey, we have one good take. Let's take another one just in case there's some audio issue, some visual issue. It's always good to have a backup. You can also see that the monitor that they're looking at is a little bit brighter than what is going to be recorded. It's just so you can see all the details when you're sitting there.
Adapt tech so that we can go wires.
Sure.
It's right over on my face. Anyone else is interested in camera? You should, Jonathan, Joshua, you should pay attention to this. This is setting up the adapt tech so we can go wireless. We're going to unplug now. Is this going to be shot 2?
This is scene 1, shot 2, yes.
Can we frame this? You want to help me with your camera? So that way over here.
So they unplug their monitor because they're changing their shot.
Check lens change, and we want to check.
They might change the lens. The lens on the camera, of course, gives you a different feel, different lengths in the glass that we put on it, and it's all going to determine where our focal length is, what our image looks like. Looks like yes, so they just put a lens cap onto that lens, and they'll be removing it and putting a new one on.
I think it was easier, but I don't know. This seems pretty secure now.
There you go. That's okay. We're looking at the red right there. On the right hand side, we can see the Anton Bauer battery, which provides its power. On the left is the lens, and the middle is, of course, the body with the computer that's inside that. And they are putting on a wireless adapter right now, which will transmit the image so they don't have to run a wire. They don't have to be hard connected, so the directors can still see no matter where the camera is coming from. I can't tell if they changed the lens or not because I didn't see which lens they had on before, but they were talking about it. Grant here is giving some good boom mic suggestion. We always want to get the boom mic pointed to the person who's talking and as close as humanly possible without being in the frame. So right there, the people have to let the boom operator know because the boom operator is not seeing the visual. Like, okay, you're in here, you're out there. We're gonna try to keep it out. The boom mic, if it comes in the shot, ruins the take, and you're gonna have to do a whole nother take again. So you can see he's testing his limits till someone tells him yes, no, maybe so. We can see looking there, I don't see any boom operator. Look, they're checking. Oh, here we go. Here's our take. This is, of course, seems like a medium of the Doctor. It's a single on the Doctor, so all of his lines. We care most about him. The other actor is there reading lines, but it's not necessary whether or not his line reads are good or not. They're focusing primarily on this Doctor character.
I need for us to communicate. I can't help your condition if you don't at least try to answer my questions.
I've been here for almost 2 weeks. You're still asking me the same shit.
Oh, what's wrong with the audio?
I bumped it and went all the way in. I hit it.
Can we restart?
Alright, reset. Still rolling.
All right, Dennis. We've given you a week to recover from your last episode. How are you feeling today? Dennis, in order for these meetings to go smoothly, I need for us to communicate. I can't help your condition. You don't at least try to answer my questions.
We heard him say, can you reset? The reset means like, hey, without cutting, let's start the whole take over again. So we don't have to, resync and or do our clap or our slate again.
You went through an extreme, traumatic experience. So it may take longer than we originally predicted. Please understand. We're here to help you, Dennis. Not terror.
Yeah, the cops did plenty of that when they detained me. Wasn't even my fault.
I understand this. I'm sorry you were handled with poor care. But we aren't at the police station anymore. We're in a safe place. A place where you can tell your side of the story.
See where it is?
Looks like we're checking his lavalier microphone, the body mic that is on the Doctor. Our audio operator's checking. Maybe there's some rubbing or something, trying to hide it, make sure it sounds as good as possible.
Should I try to take this up?
Oh, they're adjusting our light. Or dimming it, maybe, possibly moving it. Maybe it's going up. It probably didn't dim. Our camera that we're shooting it on probably auto-corrected the gain. There's our shot right there. You can see how it looks, the framing. This is a medium. He's sitting down. We're seeing probably mid-drift up of his body.
What?
He says he doesn't mind.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, it just looks like a standard head overlay or overhead light.
Alright, let's get
I
set up
believe they're
for-
trying to deal with the light glare on the glasses of the Doctor. Always something to think about when you're
Shot.
working with a person with glasses in your scene. Reflections are always going to be an issue you're going to have to mess with. So you can see he's looking down now, no reflection, but if he looks up, we're going to get that glare in the glasses. Look, around the frames, you start seeing the the globe. Always something to consider.
Roll audio.
Seems like they aren't bothered or concerned
Roll
with that.
camera.
Scene 1, take 2. Cut. So, let's move on.
Are we doing a tighter shot?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna truck right too, right?
We're gonna go from
Truck. Grant said we're going to truck right. What does that mean? That means we're actually move the camera physically to the right. Trucking is a left or right motion of the camera. Move it left, move it right. Dolly is a moving it in. Get closer, pull it out. Those are two. Dolly right, truck. Dolly in, dolly out. Truck right, truck left is something you can say when you're working with a camera. Primarily on sticks. Sticks are tripod. We call tripod sticks also.
Yeah, you're doing great at this. Action.
All right, Dennis.
Here's all the crew.
Give you a week to recover from your last episode. How are you feeling today?
You can see our audio operator has a headset, but also the director wears a headset, monitoring audio, making sure he likes the takes and everything. Jonathan, our camera operator, is adjusting. Maybe there's a pan or something. Make sure if there are any movements, they're fluid, which means it's smooth.
Don't at least try to answer my questions.
I've been here for almost 2 weeks, and you're still asking me the same shit as when I first got here.
We can see there's our globe light there on our big C-stand. Oh, Sophie, our assistant director, and Grayson, our director, monitoring the shots, making sure they both are paying attention. Our director's watching performances. Our assistant director's probably checking out, making sure there's no technic issues, no continuity things. Not Sophie's job is not to watch the performances. Number one job of the director is performances and getting it on the day. Okay, we gotta zoom in on David, who's our other actor.
Place where you can tell your side.
Jonathan's paying complete attention to the shot, operating our camera.
Psycho doctor said, wait for the
All right, here's a cool setup. This is how we're getting that effect of the blinds, the light coming through the blinds. We have two lights here you can see. We have an LED panel and a spotlight that shot onto the blinds right there. Give us that light effect that's on the wall right there that we can see goes onto our doctor. And why do we do that? Well,
why bother with my situation?
the horizontal lines look like there's actual light that's coming out from the outside, but also it can tell something about our audience. It can make our background look cool, but since the horizontal lines are on the actor, we know this from film noir, those lines can signify something is up with this character, possibly. You know, he's not evenly lit. There's the lines. The lines are bars. The bars could mean good or it could be bad. Probably bad. I know the script. The doctor character is bad, turns out.
All right, we're gonna move on to scene 1, shot 4.
All right, we have another shot. Look, it's a profile shot close-up of the face, and we can see that where Jonathan is moved. Pretty cool. Those lines, the side angle, very cool shot.
Accepting the outcome you couldn't control.
Reset.
Dennis, you're building a wall between someone who wants to help and accepting the outcome you couldn't control.
Reset. Try to pull Dennis into the conversation. He's reluctant. He doesn't want to talk to you.
Dennis, you're building a wall between someone who wants to help and accepting the outcome you couldn't control.
Cut. I like that. What?
Third one?
Yeah. We had three.
Audio?
Speaking.
Roll camera?
Scene 1, shot 4A, take 1.
Remember, this is because I'm the only person who wants to help you.
We can see everyone moves positions based off of
Action.
the new shot. That black roll right there, if you see right under the red thing. Oh, we're zooming out of it, but there was called gaff tape. Gaff tape is a type of tape that's used on film sets. You can actually see the green screen behind Grayson. Those black pieces right there are gaff tape. What are they good? They're good for because they don't get sticky. I mean, they're sticky, they adhere, but they don't like melt like a duct tape can. They're easy, they're rippable, they're good to tape down. Basically anything on a film set. Here's another shot. Finally, David there has a close-up. This is kind of more MCU medium of him, his angle. Always a thing to consider too when you're like framing these shots. As if you're ever the chance to be an actor, just know that like maybe we would cheat this a little bit, but we got you gotta make sure his nose hair looks good. We're looking straight up at those nose holes, and so for me, I'd probably do some trimming before my close-ups like that. But these are things that actors need to consider and why they need to protect their image. Like, do we do we cheat it a little bit more, or is this what the vision is? And I think the framing is pretty cool here.
I already told the cops what happened, and they chose not to believe me.
Excuse me.
It doesn't look like you're going to either.
Dennis, you're building a wall between someone who wants to help and accepting the outcome you couldn't control. I really want to help you because I read your case and I know there are others out there like you who didn't have someone on their side.
I mean that. Why bother with my situation if there are others just like me?
Well, because not every case involves a triple homicide, followed by arson, with the suspect pleading that it was the doings of unworldly demons.
Cut. Let's do another one. Scene 1, shot 7, take 2. Action.
All right, Dennis. We've given you a week to recover from your last episode. How are you feeling today? Dennis, in order for these meetings to go smoothly, I need for us to communicate.
You can see life on the film set can be repetitive. We can sit here and do the take over and over again until we get exactly what we want because everyone's here. Let's take advantage of it. Some more look at our audio recorder. You can see 3 XLR cables there. It's the brand of cables that come out. We got 2 blue and the black right there. That's the audio input. You can see there's actually one more input. You could have up to 4 on this one. There's some outputs on the side. Uh-oh. Grant went out the elephant doors.
Alright, let's stay focused. Keep rolling.
You can plug in any type of microphone you want to these audio recorders. We have 2 wireless. You can see the black mic packs right down there. See, there's the gaff tape I'm talking about on the table, but you can see there's wireless mic packs right there. The lavalier microphones. Those are the receivers. The transmitters are on the actors' bodies, and they'll plug in directly and record multi-channel. Then in the editing process, we can choose what microphones exactly we want.
A place where you can tell your side of the story. You feel safe.
Yeah, that's what all you psycho doctors say. A way for the insane to confess so you can throw them in some lab house for the crazy. Plus, I told the cops what happened and they chose not to believe me. It doesn't look like they're going to either.
Dennis, you're building a wall between someone who wants to help and accepting the outcome you couldn't control. I really want to help you.
Do you think we can do it different times, like you target the different ones and see that? Hey Jonathan, what do you think about going higher? Let's see how that goes with the pipelines to do.
This is gonna be take 1, but everything else is.
Okay. Do the celestial versus.
Sorry.
We got a Naruto sighting, everyone. Naruto is one of those things I don't watch, so is that the character Naruto? I thought the other one was Naruto. Maybe that's a side character that I don't know. But we can see here what getting more of a close up there. Looks like we changed our lens for sure. More full face.
Roll camera.
Scene 1, shot 3, take 1. Action.
All right, Dennis. We've given you a week to recover from your last episode. How are you feeling today? Dennis, in order for these meetings to go smoothly, I need for us to communicate. I can't help your condition if you don't at least try to answer my questions.
I've been here for almost 2 weeks, and you're still asking me the same shit as when I first got here.
These things take time.
Hold.
It's not gonna drink. I think you might be
Cut.
thinking about the dead. David, you take your mic back.
How's it on? Whatever you do, that check out.
Sure.
All right, we actually can see right there. We're changing batteries on our On our mic packs.
Earlier, so you can put down your name and then the roll is
All right, roll audio,
Sweet.
roll camera.
Speak.
Scene 1, shot 3, take 2. Action.
All right, Dennis. We've given you a week to recover from your last episode. How are you feeling today?
If you have the opportunity to be on set, it's always a great experience. You know, there's a lot of opportunities to get hands-on and doing some of these things that you're seeing, and so many roles that are necessary in filmmaking, and you need a big crew. So, if you're one of the students who can't make it or are unable to make it, I'm sorry, I'll keep doing behind the scenes for you, but if you do have the opportunity to actually come at least once, I really recommend it. It gives you a taste of what actual filmmaking is like.
You went through an extreme, traumatic experience. So it may take more.
So, Jonathan, let's go do a wider lens.
Ooh, we're going to change our lens to be a
It's
wider.
gonna be scene 1, shot 5.
So wider means we're going to see more, right? It's going to give us more viewable images. So we can see that the assistant camera person there is bringing the lens. They're going to make a swap of the lens. Let's see. Okay, you can see he twisted and took it off. He's putting it back on. This process is important, probably one of the more dangerous parts for the camera, because as the lens comes off, the sensor of the camera is exposed, and any dust or anything that gets in there can really mess up the sensor. Also, the back end of the lenses are where they connect to the adapter for the camera, and those can get dust in there. You want to make sure that our dust content is fine, and then also you're going to check the actual lens of the camera to make sure there's any dust or anything. Okay, you can see just lowered the tripod to give us a different angle feel. We can see on the viewfinder, yeah, it is much wider. That they're pretty much in the same position that was giving us a close-up, but now we can see it's kind of a full body shot.
Just like before.
Thumbs up.
Awesome job.
That was our direction right there for our actor. Cool shot.
11. We're 10 minutes behind, but that's okay.
Interestingly enough, Sophie, they've scheduled everything to know. We're 10 minutes behind. So on there, you can see there's some sheets right there. That's their shooting schedule. And we can see that there's some black lines crossed out lower right hand if you're looking at the image. And you can see the directors are discussing where they're at. 10 minutes behind. You gotta assume you're gonna run behind on a film set.
Hey man, I've gotten Catherine before, so I'll take Sally over that, but still.
Some joking around on set.
And it's just the action of him sitting upright.
The action of him sitting up, and then when he's upright, he's got lines.
So we're going to do a camera movement. So our camera operator is prepared to follow. So we're going to follow, which means the camera's going to have to tilt up and pan at the same type. Tilting is an up and down motion. So think nodding up and down in the yes kind of position. And then panning is left to right. So the no position of your head. If your head's if your face is the camera, you're going to pan left to right, is looking left to right. If you're going to tilt and your face is the camera, it is looking up to looking down.
Roll audio. Roll camera.
Scene 1, shot 5, take 1. Action.
What line are we starting from?
So after Dr. Oliver has said demons,
Okay.
so this is,
And then I sit up.
Yeah, and then from there.
Just clarifying where he's going to start in his lines,
Action.
because David, our actor, seems to be off book, and that means he knows all his lines. Here comes the movement. Okay, you can see we're tilting up and panning. All right. Was that as successful as we wanted? And was the performance what we wanted? That's going to be consideration. I'm going to assume they're going to do another take of this, just based off of him kind of moving out of the frame, but...
Without being labeled as a killer.
Why should I trust you? Just simply because you want to help?
Because I am the only person who wants to help you.
Where do you want me to start?
The morning before the incident. If that's alright with you, Dennis.
Well, the day before wasn't anything special. We just got to the house.
Cut.
Alright, let's, roll audio.
Sweet.
Let's roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 1, shot 5, take 2. Action.
I just want to make sense of this with you, Dennis. I don't want to send you to a mental institution. I just want you to be able to tell your side without being labeled as a killer.
Why should I trust you? Simply because you just want to help?
Because I am the only person who wants to help you.
Where do you want me to start?
The morning before the incident. If that's alright with you, Dennis.
Well, the day before wasn't anything special. We just got to the house.
Cut. That's fine, because we already know the painting's there, it doesn't look weird. I think we just move on.
Okay.
Oh, 5-8.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, because we have a close-up of Dr. Oliver, like that side profile, I was kind of thinking we do the same thing for the other side.
Ooh, they said a hot swap's happening. A hot swap is they're plugging the power into the camera. Or it looks like lens swap. I heard hot swap, but it's another lens swap. We're changing the angle again. You can see Celeste is taking the wider angled lens, and we're getting a more close-up lens, it looks like. Yeah, we're doing a profile of David's character and get a nice cool shot of those scratch marks on his face, the scars. Want to know how he got those scars? Makeup. Believe Sophie did the makeup.
Speed.
Scene 1, shot 5A, take 1.
Action.
And why should I trust you? Simply because you just want to help.
One more time.
Why should I trust you? Simply because you just want to help.
One more time, but in disbelief, you don't trust the doctor.
Why should I trust you? Simply because you just want to help.
One more time.
And why should I trust you? Simply because you just want to help.
Cut.
Cut.
Speed. Scene 2, shot 2, take 1.
Action.
You five seem pretty close. But I'm interested in how a group of such diverse people came together.
Well, we were all friends in middle school. Sure, we found different groups in high school and slowly drifted apart, but we mostly stayed in contact because of Ashley.
Ashley, huh? She was also the reason we gathered one last time.
Yeah.
You can see we're focusing on David's performance, but both actors are there. At one point, we'll get there later on, I'm sure, but one actor has to leave, so we have someone who sits in as eyeline. We can see, oh, there's our close-up.
You two seem pretty close.
Kind of MCU, that medium close-up.
Were you two?
I think I always say like chest up is kind of the framing when you're thinking of your MCU.
Moving on.
Drink some water.
Why don't we skip ahead a little?
Drinking in a scene is interesting when you have to consider continuity. How often do we see that wide shot? Do we know how much liquid's supposed to be in it? You know, we film things non-linearly, which means we can do part of the scene, film part of the scene later on in the day. But look, we're seeing, oh, look, there's actually pouring some water, too, that's going to happen in this shot. It looks like it's going to be off screen, though, but...
Action.
All things you need to consider, especially when you're script supervisor, continuity
Five seem close.
supervisor.
But I'm interested in how a group of such diverse people came together.
Well, we were all friends in middle school. Sure, we found different groups in high school and slowly drifted apart, but we mostly stayed together because of Ashley.
Ashley, huh? She was also the reason you got together one last time.
Yeah. She managed to keep us together all those years. She was a really good friend. We were all friends. Except Sarah. She was just Brian's girlfriend at the time.
I see. And you and Rachel? You two seem close by how you described her. Were you two more than friends? Moving on. Why don't we skip ahead a little? Tell me about how these demons came about.
Cut.
Speed. Scene 2, shot 2, take 3.
Action.
You five seem close. But I'm interested in how how a group of such diverse people came together.
Well, we were all friends in middle school. Sure, we found different groups in high school and slowly drifted apart, but we mostly stayed in contact because of Sarah. Actually, yeah, no.
Reset.
But I'm interested in how a group of such diverse people came together.
Well,
Interesting, of course, from this angle, we can see Joshua, who's not in frame, is just standing on set behind, not affecting any of the light.
But we mostly stayed in contact because of Ashley.
Ashley, huh? She was also the reason you gathered one last time.
Yeah, she managed to keep us together all those years. She was a really good friend. We were all friends. Except Sarah. She was just Brian's girlfriend at the time.
I see. And you and Rachel? You two seem close by how you described her. Were you two more than friends? Moving on. Why don't we skip ahead a little? Tell me about how these demons came about.
Cut.
So let's get onwards now.
Camera?
Speed. Scene 2, shot 1, take 1. Action.
You five seem pretty close. But I'm interested in how a group of such diverse people came together.
Well, we were all
So we can see this is the reverse angle of that shot. We're seeing the basically exactly the same thing that's happening. Oh, what's interesting too, of course, we're filming all of the lines, so we get the reactions too. So when we're editing it, we can cut to maybe the nod or the eyebrows going up or something that's happening that the other actor is providing us to help build tension in the edit. So it's good. It's good to have all of these options, but you don't want to be overwhelmed with so much. But that's the editor's issue. So. And me, I fancy myself something of an editor, so I do like to have the options to cut back and forth, but because I'm always of the opinion, make it dramatic, make it good. Maybe sometimes while someone's talking, you want to see the other reaction of the person.
Moving on. Why don't we skip ahead a little? Tell me about how these demons came about.
Cut.
Roll camera?
Speed. Scene 2, shot 1, take 2. Action.
By the sounds of things, you five are pretty close.
Always a fun shot to look at this, to see multiple angles of the same things happening.
Well, we were all friends in middle school. Sure, we found different groups in high school and slowly drifted apart, but mostly stayed in contact because of Ashley.
Ashley, huh? She was also the reason you gathered one last time?
Yeah, she managed to hold us together all those years. She was a really good friend. We were all friends. Except Sarah. She was just Brian's girlfriend at the time.
I see. And you and Rachel? You two seem close by how you described her. Were you two more than friends? skip ahead a little. Tell me how these demons came about.
Cut. I like that. No, that's it.
Yeah, let's clean it up.
The inside of the glass.
There's a little bit of water.
Here's a cool angle. We get to see a close up of the pour of the glass. Some cool composition, notebook, everything that's intended. These are fun shots to do. But again, it's like, all right, they're cleaning the glass to make sure it looks like there's hasn't been water put in it yet already.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 2, shot 3, take 1.
Action. Cut. That's the insert.
Jonathan is panning and tilting.
No, same thing. He's not following Oliver.
How tall are you? 6 feet? No. So he's taller than I am.
So he's gonna lean down.
How much does he have to lean?
Level?
To see his face.
Can you see, if he's taller than I am by at least a couple inches, so.
No, we're doing a different shot of his face. We don't need to see.
But you said he's walking over and
Yeah, he's just walking over, and it's mostly focused on Dennis. It's not focused on Amrit. So we don't need to see Amrit's face.
good.
Not back, sure.
Yes.
That's good.
We have you scooch a little bit to your left, David.
Like this?
Yeah.
All right, they're moving its position a little bit, kind of reflecting the shot, making it look
That's good.
more appropriate. You have a different angle, you can actually do that type of thing without it being a noticeable difference.
Let's roll audio.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 3, shot 1, take 1.
Action.
It must be very hard for you to recall these events.
Cut. So we saw Lav.
Or in my right pocket.
Can you, because we can kind of.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Yeah, right pocket.
Oh, I showed up. You can hear me. You're gonna hear my voice on set now. So and possibly see me on the set. And I left from my one job and was able to be here for the last half of the production. They've actually taken a lunch break already at this point, and I showed up about that lunch time.
There's also a subtle pause between when you make contact with David's shoulder and when you say your line.
Some direction there.
All right.
We saw a lav mic, meaning we saw a wire, so they had to redo the take and move the mic pack.
Quiet on set. Roll audio.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Scene 3, shot 1, take 2.
You see the top of the mic?
Where?
It was
No,
there.
it wasn't.
The boom mic came in the shot, and they're telling the boom operator to pull it up. You can see in this shot they're going to rack focus. Well, maybe we're zooming in, so we're not going to be able to see it on the monitor. But we started in focus, and the focus followed the action to the other subject. So that means the shot starts with the focus of the back of the head of the doctor, and as he moves over, the focus follows to be in focus with David. So,
Is that good volume, Grayson?
interesting shot.
Okay.
Get to see it again. We can see right now they're going to. We can see right now David's character is in focus in the monitor, and the doctor's character is slightly out of focus, and it'll reverse when they start it
So we're
again.
suggesting that you, before you stand up, you rack focus from Amrit to David, and then we'll have you. So
Before you stand up?
before he stands up. So after I say action, give it about 3 seconds before you stand up.
Okay.
All right.
And let's do the other phrase, David.
Roll audio.
Speaking.
Roll camera.
Speak.
Scene 3, shot 1, take 3.
Focus on Dr. Oliver. Action.
It must be very hard for you to recall events, but I'm very proud of your progress. Thank you, Dennis, for opening up. Tomorrow we will continue, but for now get some rest. You've earned it. Oh, forgot.
Cut. That's good enough.
Sort of just wait until for the speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 3, shot 3, take 1.
Grace, when do I start muttering evil kill my friends?
When you're curled up in a ball, when you fully are like curled up on a ball, laying on your side.
I lay on my side, so like I fall over basically?
Yeah,
Gotcha. Should I fall over right or left?
towards your right.
Gotcha.
Action.
Remember, it's fun when you're giving directions, saying right or left, that the actor's right and left is going to be opposite of what you see on the camera. So camera right, camera left. He's going to go into the ball, and then he's going to slowly fall over. Now, this isn't what was intended by the director, so they're going to give an improvement on it. So he kind of goes into the ball and falls over. But this was the first attempt based off of the instruction, how the actor interpreted the note, and then the director is going to give him a note for this one. Let's see how it's slightly different.
Action.
You've earned it.
See, more roll into a ball and fall over type of thing. It's more like one fluid movement instead of like, oh, I'm going to roll in the ball. Oh, now I'm going to fall over.
I'm cutting.
Reset.
You've earned it.
Reset one more time.
Mike came in for a second.
You've earned it.
Cut. Awesome. Let's move on.
Go from David passing the camera, pick up the book, and then pass the camera again.
Yes. So would it be better for him to pass in front or behind? What would make
In
it
front.
Okay, we'll do front.
Sorry, Grayson, just to clarify. So
Yeah.
I'm passing, going across the camera this way, coming back, picking up the book, and then passing again.
Yeah, because the doorway is supposedly right here. We don't
Okay.
see it.
Sure.
And you're about to leave because he's done talking for the day.
Right.
But you almost left that book there, which is the most important piece of the whole entire conversation.
Okay.
So you come back and pick it up.
Okay.
He's got chair, can I slide a chair out?
moving the furniture to get the camera in the right position.
Roll on this, so let's roll audio.
Sometimes we'll mark so we know where to put the furniture back.
Scene 3, shot 7, take 1.
Action.
Must be very hard for you to recall the events, but I'm very proud of your progress. Thank you, Dennis, for opening up. Tomorrow we will continue this, but for now, get some rest. You've earned it. Oh, almost forgot. Take care, Dennis. I'm counting on you.
Cut. Alright, that was good. Hey, David. Yeah. When.
Roll audio.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 3, shot 7, take 2.
Action.
It must be very hard for you to recall the events, but I'm very proud of your progress. Tomorrow we will pick up. But for now, you've earned it. Oh, almost forgot.
Here's the book. The book's a really cool prop that they made. If you know Evil Dead at all, this is basically the Necronomicon. And I don't know if we're going to get a cool angle if we have a behind-the-scenes shot of the face of the book, but it's a very cool prop. Again, this scene's inspired by the Evil Dead series with Ash, Sam Raimi.
Action.
It must be very hard for you to recall the events, but I'm very proud of your progress. Thank you, Dennis, for opening up. Tomorrow we will continue, but for now, get some rest. You've earned it. Oh, almost forgot. Take care, Dennis. I'm counting on you.
Cut. Loved it. That was awesome. Yay.
So we're taking it from the top and taking my glasses off.
Yeah, the whole scene.
Okay. Roll audio.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 3, shot 5, take 1.
Action.
It must be very hard for you to recall the events.
You end up seeing a lot of the same takes over and over again. And that's set life, you know. Now we're doing a wide shot, so to make sure we're covered on everything. Okay, good. This is the behind the scenes stuff we want to see. Everybody's sitting there. It's been, 6 hours now.
Take care, Dennis.
All right, we have another angle of the book. Let's see if we can see the face from here. Not quite.
No notepad, and we need to see Dennis's face.
Do you care about that? Roll audio.
Speed.
Let's roll camera.
Speed.
Take 3, shot 5, take 2.
Action.
So they started at 9, setting up and everything, and now we're at about 2 p.m. in the afternoon to give you some concept for this one scene. I believe it was about 3 pages of a script.
It must be very hard for you to recall the events. But I'm very proud of your progress.
Note that, he's trying to do the same hand gestures. His hand goes in his pocket.
Tomorrow we will continue, but for now, get some rest. You've earned it. Oh, almost forgot. Take care, Dennis. I'm counting on you.
Cut. That was awesome. Move on.
Ready to move on.
David,
That's it.
alright. We ready to shoot this?
All right, they're doing they're going to prepare for a hot swap. We saw the Anton Bauer battery. They're going to switch the battery. I've taken over. Sophie is moving makeup. And now I am the AD. And we can see that David's was wrapped at that point, and he's leaving. As soon as we can look and see that I'm telling them to be quiet because Sophie's removing makeup. And Grant is actually sitting in for David, so that the eye line for our doctor character here will be the same. Always good to have someone there for him to look at to keep his eyes ready.
Okay, moving on.
That was the shot. And Sophie's. They're doing a hot swap right here. This is interesting to take a look at. They're going to plug in the AC to the camera. That means the actual plug into the wall. We do this so that we don't have to turn off the camera and lose all the data and have to resync everything, specifically with the time code. So the power is going into the camera right now. Now they're removing one Anton Bauer battery.
Between gold mount and V mounts.
Gold mount has the 3 pins, the V mount has a V that slides in.
It's just a, input. That's different.
Celeste is asking about different styles of battery, external batteries. All right, our battery is a. You ever heard of the band AC/DC, right? So AC is alternating current, which is a direct line. Any plug you put in the wall is an AC. Oh.
Now you guys know, Anton Bauer, sponsored by Grant.
I don't own the stock.
Having some fun with our behind-the-scenes camera. Anton Bauer is the brand. That's what they were talking about. Sorry, AC is alternating current. DC is direct current. So any battery, external power source that is used will be a battery.
Can you get your hand on Grant?
Hey, look, it's me.
Is that enough of a close-up for you?
Yeah, can we get focused up?
Yeah.
the left third, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible if we can go lower, look more at him from Dennis's point of view?
The problem is that you can't see above the wall.
Okay, so you can't go.
So how much?
You can go a little bit lower.
So they're gonna lower the tripod. You can see their the locks on the legs so that they can lower it down, lower. The only concern is you can't shoot too much up because these walls are only 8 feet tall, so you obviously don't want to see above a certain line. You know, a couple inches down really does dramatically change things. They're considering like if our doctor is somewhat sinister, we can shoot the camera angle can imply certain elements of it. So are we looking up at the character? Does that mean they have a position of power? Usually if you go down and look up, it's a position of power.
Action.
It must be very hard for you to recall the events. But I'm proud of your progress. Thank you, Dennis, for opening up. Tomorrow we will continue, but for now, get some rest. You've earned it.
Can we reset?
Boom's in shot.
Is it casting any kind of shadows between the light?
No.
We don't see any shadow.
Boom was in the shot, so it came into the shot.
You can pull over.
Still rolling.
Try looking right here. Just right. How does his eyes look compared looking here or looking at Grant?
Can we see the difference?
Here
Here.
to there. Grant, and then this is cheating a little bit. How's
Cheating looks better.
Yeah, cheating's better.
So yeah, look at his hand.
Oh, look at me! I offered a good idea. So you can see Grant's holding up his hand
Boom.
so that the doctor can cheat a little bit. We see
Action.
more of his eyes that way.
Very hard for you to recall the events. But I'm very proud of your progress.
Look at the lighting, specifically when we're shooting slightly up at him, and we're getting those dark light from above, so it's giving him that darkness under his eyes. But also for a sinister character like he's revealed to be, that can help really enhance that aspect.
Must be very hard for you.
You can see the boom mic is actually going from below instead of above, and that's because sometimes it's easier to hold it that way, specifically when it is such a close-up shot there.
Tomorrow we will continue.
Grant's job right there is just to have a hand on his shoulder and hold his hand up to be an eye line.
Cut. What do I see? So that one is MO.
Or do we want to get
All right, you can see our
Holding the book.
Yeah, it's in full.
one of our assistant cameras working the slate. Joshua here is like writing down clear, moving on to the next thing. How many takes we're gonna do? Always important. Oh, we're gonna see the face of the book right there in the monitor. I'm gonna do a close-up of the monitor. And you can see Grant is adjusting. We're trying to fix one of the blinds. Didn't look so good in the shot. And just a piece of paper right there fixes it from behind. Movie magic at its greatest right there. This is a really cool element that you can see that how the set is designed. Our painted walls.
It's MOS, right? It was his left hand, right? Cool. This is like, yeah, MOS with that hand point there. And then we use
Okay, this arm that's happening?
yeah.
Okay.
Just have him do his dialogue.
Yeah, just do the dialogue and kind of tap the book with your left hand.
Dialogue from once I have it picked up.
Once you pick it
Once you pick it up.
Yeah. Okay. Take care, Dennis. I'm coming.
Yeah, and then kind of like tap the book maybe close to the mouth. Yeah.
Scene 3, shot 6. And let's get this shot,
I don't
folks.
think they wanted dialogue. Is this?
Action.
Take care, Dennis. I'm counting on you.
preset. Yeah, a singular tap. Less knuckle, more the tip of your fingers. Action.
Take care, Dennis.
See, even the direction is like, hey, how do you want him to specifically tap on the book, right?
Cut.
That book, that is a cool prop. Gotta say, if you have an opportunity to come and see it, it's cool. I know we're going to be filming more of this movie later on.
Your wife, since the last take.
Looks like this must be our final scene. What's interesting here, right? Like we see David, but David's not there. They're reviewing an old take to. We couldn't decide how in one of his old takes he tapped on the book, so they want to make sure that the tap is fine. It matches. They're really checking for a continuity issue.
Yeah, so most, it doesn't really matter because we see the book and it's more of like the book is making eye contact with him, if anything. So yeah, that's good. Let's go to the last.
I think you got it, but what do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think we got it.
So if you feel good too?
I do, after seeing it.
Yeah.
What's the last shot?
This
Flash.
is shot 8, scene 3, shot 8. MCU of Dr. Oliver's Take Care, Dennis.
It's the last lines of the movie.
And it is as close to POV as we can?
No, this is an MCU. It's not a POV of Dennis.
None of Dennis.
What do you mean?
So his feet in the last one was like in a perfect kind of position for him.
I can't.
This is not focusing on the book.
It's all you.
Okay. So I'm not worried about me. I mean, I'll do the motions. Yes.
No, we can't see the book. It's medium.
Can we a little closer?
We can move the table.
Yeah, it is. We don't care about the table anymore. Yeah, Dennis. Wait, no, Dennis's face is.
Can we have you cheat slightly to your right? A little more? Because we're trying to get a little less of the painting. Yeah, that one's good.
Oh.
Two people can't see each other right now.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's the best part. Take off the glasses. I'm looking at the book, right?
No, he needs this right. Okay. Alright. I think that looks good. It looks a little hard. Can we have, Amrit scoot a little bit?
Roll audio.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Scene 3, shot 8, take 1.
Action.
Take care, Dennis.
Cut. Let's do the one with glasses.
I couldn't remember whether or not he had his glasses on or not for this scene. So they're shooting it both ways just for coverage. In fact, actually, they did review and they realized one take he did it with glasses and one take he did it without glasses. So they don't know what take they're going to prefer. So it's better to have both options than not have them either and be stuck with like one bad take and one good take.
Action.
Take care, Dennis.
Cut. That's a wrap.
Woo! That's it. And as always, if you have the opportunity to come join us, come join us. This is a lot of fun. The thing to note too is, yeah, even though the behind the scenes is over, the shoot continued for about an hour as we broke down all the equipment. And so even though we're done filming, there's still a lot of effort that goes into, cleaning up cables, turning off lights, taking things down. A lot of the equipment doesn't live at the studio. A lot of the equipment is grants. So the cameras, the monitors, all of the audio stuff gets packed up and he takes it home. So once the shoot is over, it's not really over for, usually count on an extra hour afterwards. All right. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me or text me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or comments you might have about this. We are filming this upcoming Friday as well. I believe it is on location, but I think I believe Friday is happening at the Gav studio, and then Saturday is happening not at the Gav studio, so a different location. All right. Thank you, everyone.